Hi everybody. I am Mr. here. I am an English teacher. So today I am going to teach you about writing paper, specifically on part one, which is the short communicative message or email. Okay, so this question today is actually taken from MRSM trial last year. So now, without further ado, let's look at the question. Okay, first of all, you must read the question. Okay, so let me read it for you. You received an email from a classmate Hamza. Hi, Teacher's Day is almost here. I am planning to buy a present for our class teacher. What should I buy and how much should I spend on it? Where can I buy it from? So I'll be waiting for your reply. Bye. Now write an email to your classmate in about 80 words. So this is take a look at the three steps that I provide you on the top of the question here. Okay, there are three steps here that I wrote. Firstly is to analyze, second is to draft, and the third one then you can write. Okay, the first two steps are crucial, is very important. Why? Because analyzing the question, you get to know the uh, requirements of the question, what the question needs, okay? And also in order for you not to misinterpret the question, okay? So really important to analyze, okay? And the second one is to draft. Why draft is also essential? Because you can jot down the possible content that you want to write later so that you don't forget about it, okay? So draft is actually not going to be like too long. It should be like a very quick draft and it doesn't take too much time. Okay, it's like quick thinking and then you put it on your paper. Mm, So then after you finish a draft, then you can start writing. Okay, so first of all, we're going to look at the first step. We are going to analyze this question. Okay, this question. So firstly, when you read the question, you have to identify uh, who's this email coming from. So in this case, you know that this email is coming from a classmate, Hamza. So it should be addressed later on, a reply to Hamza, not to somebody else. Yeah. Okay, and then look at what is the contact of the email. So we know that this contact is about Teachers Day. All right. You a present, okay, for our class teacher. So yes, Hamza is your housemate, so our class teacher. So you share similar teacher, obviously, and it is about Teachers Day. Okay, that is the most important part. So why you need to know the contact about email? The contact, okay, in replying later. Okay, we'll see later on macam mana the contact is really important your reply email. And then if you can see here, there are a few pink boxes, okay, that I just edited. Okay, so firstly, what should I buy? How much should I spend on it? And where can I buy it from? So these are the requirements of the question. Okay, the question Hamza is asking you, what should he buys? What should he buy? And then how much should he spend? And where he can buy it from. So in a way, asking your opinion. Okay. All right. So the requirement is similar like the task. Okay. So this is you just finish analyze the question. So from Hamza, contact is about Teachers Day, planning to buy a present, our class teacher. And then what are the tasks? What should I buy? How much should I spend? And where can I buy it from? So if you finish analyze, nothing left out. So you know already what is going on for this email. At the second step, which is about draft. Should be a really quick draft. Okay, so if you look at the task or the requirement, so you got three questions. Okay, so firstly, what should I buy? So if you can think really fast, it should be something easy to write about. So maybe a book. favorite hobby, okay, fictional novel. So I provide here with example, and the mountain echoed. So this is the title of a novel and the writer as well, Khalid Hosseini. All right. So in order for you to answer each task or each requirement, you have to directly answer what it is. Okay, what should I buy? A new book. Okay, and then you have to not only giving the point or the answer to the question, you also need to provide elaboration. So here is the elaboration: relate to her favorite hobby. Firstly, tadi ada the point, that the next one we have the elaboration, and also I provide example here, and the mountain echoed by Khalid Hosseini. All right, so this is going to be a great answer for the first requirement or the first task. Okay, how about the second task? Okay, so how much should I spend? So the point, the answer to this question is less than 50 ringgit. Elaboration: use saving or the second question. So you have the draft done already. And the third question, or the third task: where can I buy it? Okay, so direct to the point, the best bookstore. Okay, so obviously you can buy books from a bookstore. Okay, and I also provided example here, Kinokuniya in KLCC. Okay, so by having this draft, I believe that you have the structure, okay, for the requirements, and how can you put it, okay, all of these. Okay, now let's look at the writing. Okay, so this is the sample answer that I wrote. Okay, so there is like a specific way, all right, that you have to follow. I believe all the teachers that have taught you or how to answer email. So this is just another way of me to remind you. So usually there is like started with to and the subject. So to is usually to reply an email. So it is supposed just now, Hamza. So you have to create an email yourself. So it should not be that hard. So here I just provided Hamza underscore 2004 at gmail.com. Okay, and there is also a subject. So subject should relate to the contact just now, like I said, contact here about Teachers Day. So the subject should be about gives idea, okay, for Teachers Day. Is what I wrote. So you begin by saying hello. Okay, so hello Hamza. If you didn't mention about Teachers Day, I might have forgotten about it. Thank God that you reminded me in a way. Okay, so I started my email. Okay, a little bit informal, of course, because this email is addressed to your friend. Okay, not your teacher, not the principal. Okay, so it is addressed to your friend, so it should be a little bit or less formal. And also, as I said earlier, why contact is really important, so that you can include in your introduction. Okay, as I mentioned, the contact just now is about Teachers Day. So you can create a contact here. Okay, if you didn't mention about Teachers Day, I might have forgotten about it. Okay, thank God that you reminded me in a way. Quite a catchy introduction, I suppose. Okay, and then you direct to the point here. Hence, I'm glad to help you with your questions. Okay, so let me read it through, okay, to get the idea. Okay, so we created the draft, and then this is how the writing looks like. Okay, firstly, about the present itself, I would suggest you to buy our class teacher, Madam Sandra, a new fiction book or a novel. We know her very well, that she is such an avid reader, and she even considered herself as a bookworm. Okay, recently I came across to a bestseller novel entitled "And the Mountains Echoed" by famous author Khalid Hosseini. I bet she will love it so much. Okay, so introduction about the contact, and then firstly, so this is answering to the first contact just now, which is about what should I buy. Okay, so what should Hamza buy? So you recommend Hamza, I would suggest you to buy our class teacher, Madam Sandra. So this is another actually additional style, writing style that you want to make it interesting enough. It's about, if you look at the question just now, they are sharing similar teacher, right? So you may include that to make it more fun, more interesting. Okay, I would suggest you to buy our class teacher, Madam Sandra, a new fiction book or a novel. So this is already answering the first question, the first requirement of the email question. Okay, so this is the point. Now let's look at the elaboration and the example. So we know her very well that she is such an avid reader and she even considered herself as a bookworm. So I believe so this is something related to what we draft just now, her hobby, okay, so, like I said, so I changed it to an avid reader. So she loves to read a lot. Okay, so that is what avid reader means. And she even considered herself as a bookworm. So you got books. And this is the elaboration, and here come the example. Recently, I came across to a bestseller novel entitled "And the Mountains Echoed" by a famous author, Khalid Hosseini. Okay, if you could find it, I bet she will love it so much. Okay, so this comes the example. Okay, like what we wrote earlier. All right. The second requirement or the second task, so you start it by using the next, okay, which is cohesive device next. Okay, the price range for the novel should not exceed 50 ringgit. Really, it is not the price that matters, but your sincerity and remembrance towards the teacher. Friends to chip in some money for the gift. The second question, okay, about the price range for the novel should not exceed RM50. Okay, so you already answered the second question, so fulfill that question. However, how about the elaboration and example? All right, so elaboration here, you give your personal opinion. Okay, I believe that is the appropriate amount we could afford as students, and for me personally, it is not the price that matters, but your sincerity and remembrance. Keikhlasan dan ingatan kita kan towards the teacher. If you could find some friends to chip in some money for the gift, that would be fine as well. So another additional elaboration here, okay, as like what we wrote, okay, in the quick draft, okay, ask friends to chip in, okay. So the second question, you fulfill that also. And then how about the last requirement, which is about where can I buy it? Okay, so you use another cohesive device. Okay, lastly, the right place that you can go to get the novel is of course at the bookstore. So you answered the question, okay, at bookstore. So because you want to buy a book, okay, for as a bookstore. Okay, answered the third task or the third requirement. So I would highly recommend Kinikunya bookstore at KLCC for its thousand options of books from local to international collection. So this is the elaboration and also example. Okay, I would highly recommend this bookstore, okay, in at KLCC, okay, for its thousand options of books from local to international collection. So you suggest a bookstore and you give example what bookstore that you recommend. Okay, so this is going to be amazing. All right, and also you add another like elaboration towards it, like it is truly a heaven for book lovers and the place. So this is another attraction. Why you suggest Konikunya bookstore at KLCC to Hamza. So you answered all the three requirements already. So first of all, you have the contact, how you begin your email, and then you answer the three questions. And don't forget to end your email appropriately. Okay, so you dah start, you dah jawab soalan, mestilah you kena close the email. Okay, close the email appropriately lah. Okay, so let's look how do I close this email. So let me read it. That's all from me. I hope my idea and suggestions are helpful for you. Don't hesitate to hit me up if you have another inquiry. If you have any further inquiries, okay. Now I got to do shopping for Teachers Day too. Okay, so see you. Okay, and you write down your name here. Okay, is it related to introduction here kan? Now I got to do shopping for Teachers Day too because you wrote here if you didn't mention about Teachers Day I might have forgotten about it, so it's kind of related. So that is how I do my introduction and closing. And usually closing, of course, you have to give your hope. Okay, so I put the sentence like this. I hope my idea and suggestions are helpful for you. Okay, and also I add, don't hesitate to hit me up if you have if you have any further inquiries. Okay, so that is how you end the email. All right, so I believe this what makes a good email. All right, you have flow from for the requirements from one question to another question because you use prices. All right, and last but not least, you also have closing. Okay, so that's pretty much of it. Okay, and now let's look how the marking goes. Okay, so we can see here correct email address. Okay, because you have like the underscore at gmail.com, so that should be fine already. Okay, appropriate and suitable title. So of course you have to relate to the contact. It is about Teachers Day, and what it is about, it is buying gift. So you wrote as gifts idea for Teachers Day. We have greeting, okay, and then for the introduction we relate to the contact. Okay, so let's look more. C1. C1 is the question for the first question, the first requirement, sorry. Okay, what should I buy? So you suggest to buy a new fictional book. So you answered the question already. Okay, and then CA1. So this C for content for requirement one, and then CA communicative achievement, which is like the style of writing, and also maybe the elaboration, the example that you provided in your writing. So also available for the first content. Okay, so I put CA1. So because you give example like and the mountain echo the book titles. Okay, and then C2. C2, this is about the second task. Okay, the price range. Okay, so you also provide the point for this question, and then you have elaboration and example. So you get CA2, which is the communicative achievement for the second task. And also C3 referring to the point number 3 for the task number 3, and then CA3 is the cumulative achievement, okay, for the requirement 3. Fill all, okay, which is can. Okay, so content, answer all three question required, so you scored full marks already. So bila ada tiga soalan, tiga requirement, bila you jawab semua soalan, you dah boleh dapat full marks for it. Okay, and CA ni some students will actually fall between maybe 3 to 4. She like make it sound the email interesting enough. Okay, so I believe that by giving elaboration, by giving example, okay, that would be very helpful for you to have higher marks for CA for community. uh, in CA, in order for you to get full marks or high marks, it has to be interesting. Okay, so provide interesting ideas. Okay, you have to give elaboration, and if possible, you give also appropriate example. Also, another marking criteria is organization. Okay, so O. Okay, From the beginning until the end, I provided, I use cohesive devices throughout the email kan. Okay, hence, firstly, recently, next. Okay, for me personally. Okay, lastly. Okay, um, okay, and also fanboys. Fanboys are the connect. Are the link words like and, for, okay, but, or, okay, yet, and so. You may use this link word, okay, in your sentences, okay, to be, as long as the email is easy to follow, okay, from the top to bottom, it is actually quite organized email, so you can get high marks for it. Okay, so don't forget to use cohesive devices. Okay, cohesive devices is not only like, firstly, next, besides, moreover. It is actually more than that. Okay, maybe in the next video we can try to look at what CD really means. Okay, but not least, we have to look at the language. Okay, we have to look at the style of writing. Is it like, this is email, so it should not be too formal. Okay, so you use contraction like didn't. Okay, what else here? That's okay. So, contraction is allowed in email. Yeah, only in email contraction is allowed. Contraction is macam ni lah. It's, that's, okay. Didn't, don't. Okay. So that is what contraction means. So language style, it can be a little bit informal for email. Okay. Less formal tone. Okay, appropriate for a friend. So this is email addressed to a friend. So I believe it should be lively. Okay. It should be fun to read. Okay, and, obviously for the spelling and grammar. Okay, so you have to take care of it also. Okay, so that your language mark, will be high. Okay, um, spellings and grammar errors here and there, it might affect your that is basically what email is about. Okay, it's not that hard to actually score good marks or high marks or even full mark for email. Yeah, so as long as you practice, the structure, or what I said earlier, the three steps that I introduced earlier on. Okay, so you have to analyze the question, you have to draft, and then you can write. Okay, so analyze is important so that you don't misinterpret the question. Okay, and also, it's really crucial for you to get to know what are the requirements or what are the tasks of the email. Again, so that after analyze, then you can draft. Okay, draft is, jot down the ideas that you have at the moment of, analyzing. Okay, so that you don't forget later on. Okay, it should be really quick for the draft. Okay, okay, maybe you can draft the point and what the possible elaboration for the point, and if possible, put also example. All right, and then last but not least, then you can write the email. Okay. Some people might be asking, it should be about 80 words. Okay. As you can see, like the email I wrote here, it might be, I think obviously it is more than 80 words. One thing that you have to remember that, for the current format for CEFR, it doesn't actually penalize you, if you write more. Okay, but accordingly. Okay, tak adalah sampai you write email sampai 2 pages kan, so it's not logical to do that. Okay, usually for email part, they provide you a space, provided space in a box maybe. So if you could, actually, utilize the box. Okay, um, that should be fine already. Okay, or if it is on A4 paper, it should be maybe half of the page is okay. So I guess that's the end for today's video. I really hope that you find, some of the tips and also the sample essay or the sample email beneficial for you. And maybe I can see you in the next video with more example or more techniques on how to answer, writing and other, other papers as well. Okay, all right, so I think that's all for today. Thank you so much for your time. Assalamualaikum and bye. See you.